Common Curriculum is our lesson planning platform. This is what you will use to plan lessons and units. In this video, you will learn to set up your new plan book, add a template to your plan book, and learn the general features and how to share your plan book with both admin and your department or co-teachers. Before you create your plan book, however, you need to think about the type of plan book that you want to create. There are three different options. The first option is where you will create a separate plan book for each of your classes. So this means you would create one plan book for, say, algebra for one block, geometry for another block, or it could be you're setting up plan book for first block or second block and third block, etc. Your second option is where you would create one plan book for all of your classes. So even if you're teaching separate classes, say again, algebra and geometry, you would still have them within the one plan book, but they will be set up in sections. So you will have an area just to see your algebra lessons and units, and then an area to see your geometry lessons and units, but they are all contained within one plan book. And then the third option is a team plan book. This is if multiple teachers are teaching the same class and want to be able to plan together. It can be shared amongst all of the teachers. To set up your Common Curriculum Plan book, you are first going to start in ClassLink and look for the Common Curriculum icon. Click on that, and that will take you into your dashboard area of Common Curriculum. This is once you have all of your plan books set up or your one plan book set up. This is where you will be able to find it. Or if you have multiple plan books set up, you'll be able to click between the different plan books in this area. But to create your plan book, we're going to click the button that says Create Plan Book. And then a tray is going to come up on the right-hand side. We want to name our plan book. Now, this will depend on the option that you chose. If you chose option 1 and you want to have a plan book for each of your separate classes, you probably want this name to be more specific, such as Algebra 1 Block 1 or Geometry Block 2. If you are going with the second or third options, you may want something that is more generic. So the second option would be you have several classes within one plan book, or the third option being that you are working with a group. Again, that would probably want to be more specific, actually, if you're working with a group. I'm going to model the second option, so I'm going to make a more generic name. And then I just want to double check that all of the settings in this tray are set up the way I want them to be. The school year needs to be 2024, 2025. And then I want to choose the weekly schedule. Yes, we do block scheduling, but we do not do an A-B schedule or a rotating schedule. So you do not want to pick that option. You do want to truly pick the weekly option. And then you want to make sure that the days of the week are Monday through Friday, and then create your plan book. Now it's going to bring up some prompts to help me in creating my plan book. So we'll just follow along as they come up. This is where I can add classes. So if I have one class in my plan book, I'll add the one class. If I have several, I will add those classes. So I'm going to add my first class. And then following the model that I am using, the second option, I am going to create my second class. If you need to add additional classes, you can keep doing that. But I'm going to click the next button and keep going. And now it's going to show me the schedule so that I can see what that looks like and if I want to add anything additional to this schedule. So, Common Curriculum very much encourages you to use your Planbook like an everyday scheduler or calendar feature. So, one of the options that I can do is add a note card for lunch. So, I know that I have lunch in between my Algebra 1 and my geometry classes. So, I'm going to move that in so that I can actually schedule that time in for myself. Uh, it will not be added to every single day. So, obviously, if I have lunch every day, I need to add that note card in where that goes. Now, it might be that I have a meeting every Tuesday. I can add that meeting in and leave that right where it's at. And if I need to add any other additional note cards to my schedule, I can do so. Okay. Then I'm going to click next, and this is where I can choose a template. And this is new for the high school this year. There is a template that everyone will be using. Everyone will be using the same template. So in the template gallery up at the top, you can see the different categories that templates fall into. You will click on Manassas Park High School, and you will see the MPHS template for 2024-2025. Click Choose, and then click Next, and that will add the template to your plan book. You can see that the template is added to both classes on this next view, and we'll continue to click Next. And then I'm ready to start planning, and that will create your plan book. Now you'll notice if you have used Common Curriculum in the past, the interface at the top of the toolbar has changed. So I'm just going to quickly go through this and show you some of the features. The first button I want to show you is this home icon. When I click on that, that's going to take me back to my dashboard, and it will show me all of the plan books that I have set up. So I'm just going to click on the plan book I just created and go back into that plan book. Right now, the view that I see is the week view, but I can change this to be the day view or a monthly view. It's nice that the monthly view does allow you to see on the specific day. So if I click, say if I click on another day, it's going to bring it up on the side so that I can see what's going on any particular day, but then also have the month view as well. And then I have the unit timeline. This is where I can work on pacing my lessons and pacing my units. So let me go to another plan book very quickly just to show you the difference. Okay, so here you see the blue dots. So this will show you that there's a lesson, and when I click on it, it will bring up that tray to allow me to see the lesson. But then I can set up the units underneath that. So if I want to add a unit, I'm going to click on this add button next to the units, and then click the little plus sign, add the name of my unit, and then I can drag that little cell and make it as long as I need to say I'm going to have an elements unit from the 22nd to the 25th. I can also set up subunits underneath that, so I see additional plus signs. So let's say I want to do a subunit. I have no idea what a subunit would be for this, but we're just going to say subunit for the moment. And then I can say it's going to be the 23rd and 24th. I can also see the outline view. So up at the top when I click on that. So this gives me a nice view to see the pacing that I have already set up with my units and subunits, and then also being able to see the lesson at the same time. Then I have the standards tracker. This allows me to check the standards that I have used so far and what lessons I have used them with. So right here, I can see that I have this set of standards, and then it's showing me that I used this specific standard in one lesson on October 9th, and I did not use any of the others. But obviously, you will see more than this when you're using your actual plan book and be able to see how many times you used those standards and again on which day you used them. On the right side of the toolbar is where I can change some of the settings. So let's explore this drop down. When I go to classes and schedule, order, or templates, this is where I can go back and edit the features that I set up at the very beginning of the plan book. So when I click on this, it's going to show me the classes that I set up. If I need to add additional classes or change these classes for some reason or even delete them, I can do that here. I can go back into the order and change those note cards around or add additional note cards. And not that you would need to, but you do have the templates area set up where you could change the templates as well. The next option, and as you can see, I switched plan books around so that you could see what's going on for this year. The next setting that you can change is events. Now, this is typically where you would go in, and if we have scheduled days off during the year, it will make sure that you don't put lessons in on those days and move you ahead to that next day. And this is where you would go in and put those breaks or holidays. But this year, you don't need to do that. Central Office having administrator access has already done it for you. So when I click on this, I will see that they have already put in Labor Day, Thanksgiving break, winter break, all of the additional days that we will have off and you will not be planning. If I don't believe all of them are in here, so they might still be working on that, but know that you don't need to go in and put in those days off. All right, the next option is title and background. So if I need to change the name of my plan book, I can do that. I can also change the background colors. So right now I have this gradient of pinks and oranges, but I could change this to other colors, or there are images. So I could put in, as you saw in the other plan book, the palm trees. They had a nice one with bikes. There we go. There's the bikes. So I can definitely change that up and make it more customizable to what I prefer. Collaborators is where I will share my plan book. So you will need to make sure that link sharing is turned on so that the administrator over your department can view your plan book. So just click on the toggle button and then it will give you a URL and that can be shared or once this is clicked in the dashboard area, you can go in and view other plan books. So that will already be set up that you can go in and whoever needs to see it can do that. If you need to collaborate with an individual, so if you have a co-teacher or if you need to share with your team or school, you can do that by clicking on either one of these buttons. So if I'm collaborating with an individual, I just need to put in their email address and add that and add the type of viewing rights that they have. Can they view? Can they comment? Can they edit? Edit and manage. So if you're co-teaching with someone, they probably want to be able to have edit access so that they can also add in maybe accommodations for students or any other information. But you may also want to grant comment access to a mentor just to say, how is this going? And they can maybe add suggestions for other things that they feel might be good to work in your plan book, especially if you are a brand new teacher. Or if we're collaborating with that school or team, I can select the group or the department that I want to share my plan book with. Going back to settings, you'll see that it has an option for class websites. You do not need to worry about that. Canvas essentially acts as that class website, so we do not create or utilize this feature in Common Curriculum. And then for some reason, if you need to delete your plan book, you can do so. If you need to share, you also have the share button here. This looks exactly the same. So if I need to go back into the share area, it will do that for me. I also have the undo button. Whatever you do in your plan book, it will list out all of the different actions that you have done, and you can undo that action as many times as needed. As long as you have not refreshed the page, it will go back infinite number of times to undo an action that you set up in the plan book. You also can search your plan book for different lessons, standards, keywords. This would be the place to do it instead of trying to go back through different days and figure out when did I talk about this or when did we do this. You can simply search for it. And then you also have the help button. This is very good to be able to go to the help center. They have lots of different video tutorials and step-by-step tutorials to help you with anything within your Common Curriculum plan book. So I highly suggest going here if you have any questions. Okay, I'm going to go back to a month view. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to go to the week view, and I want to show you a couple of other options. If I need to go through and go to a different week, I can just use the arrows up here at the top, and it will change the weeks for me. I can rearrange and filter, so if I need to collapse the set of classes, so if I'm doing option number 2 and I have several classes, I can collapse the classes and then expand the class that I may want to focus on. So if I don't want to see Algebra 1 and just want to focus on geometry, I can do that. Or I can go back and then turn that off. Or I can filter for the classes. So if I don't want to see Algebra 1 and I just want to see geometry, I can do that as well. The next area I want to show you are the day menus and the lesson menus. The day menus are indicated by the date at the top of the page, and you have additional options that you can apply to that entire day. So if you have multiple lesson or multiple classes within your plan book, it will apply to that entire day and all of those classes. So when I look here, when I say copy, I would be copying the entire day, including all of the classes that I have within my plan book, and then I could paste them onto another day. I also have add no school day. So this would be more for an emergency or an unscheduled day of no school, such as a snow day. Then you have the option to bump those lessons that would have happened on that day and bump them to the next scheduled day. You can pull lessons backwards. You can also print or download those lessons that you could then share with an administrator or with a substitute. That would be an ultimate plan. If you know that you are going to be out, you can plan everything in Common Curriculum and then print out that lesson plan for the substitute teacher. Now, then I have the lesson menu, and I will have that for each of the separate classes that I have. So here on Algebra 1, here is my lesson menu for that particular class. And then if I scroll down to geometry, I will see a separate lesson menu for that particular class. So on this class, you will see it is very similar to what you saw on the day menu, but if I'm copying this particular class, it's only going to copy this lesson menu, this class. So just remember, days are going to copy everything. lessons are going to copy just that class. The one difference between the day menu and the lesson menu is this import lessons and units link. When I click on this, it allows me to click on the year, and then I can look at anyone's plan book. And if I am co-teaching with someone or someone else has a similar class to me or is teaching the same class, I can pull in the lesson. So if you were planning with someone else, they happen to make the lesson on their side and are sharing it with you, you can import that lesson into your plan book. All of the tiles or cards within your lessons you can type into except for the SOL and WIDA standards. This one is where you will search for those standards, and you can search for both standards from the same spot. You will need to add both SOL standards and WIDA standards into your lessons. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to click on search and add standards. I'm going to look at my SOL standards first. So I'm going to click on states and scroll down to Virginia. Then from here, I will select my content area. So let's pick science, and then we'll do environmental science. That's fine. All of my standards are listed here. So when I want to select a standard, I'll just click on the plus sign. So we'll pick two different standards here. And then I want to add my WIDA standards. So I will click this little button off to the right side of this window called the side-by-side view. And this will allow me to pull up my WIDA standards. And I will be able to see both my SOL standards and my WIDA standards side by side. And this will also allow me to help choose the relevant standards for both, for my SOLs and my WIDA standards. So I'm going to click on organizations. And this is a very, very long list. So I suggest using the scroll bar to scroll all the way down to WIDA, WIDA. And then I'm going to select the first option, English Language Development Standards. And I'll select my grade level, 9 through 12. And then all of my WIDA standards will be here. And just like I did with my SOL standards, I will select the standards that I need and will also work with my SOL standards. All right, then I'll click close and return, and that will take me back to my plan book. Now, I do want to mention one thing for CTE. I'm going to go back into search, and under Virginia, so when I go back to Virginia, because you don't have SOL standards, you have competencies. You actually have two sets of competencies. You have workplace readiness skills and then the competencies for your class. Your individual classes should be listed within this area. If they are not, please let your department chair know or myself. So I'm going to actually click on CTE, and then I should see where my competencies are. But you also have workplace readiness skills. This is separate from your competencies. So you will need to click on workplace readiness and select those skills, and then go back to CTE and find the competencies. You could also do this by doing the side-by-side view. So actually this will let me do multiple. I just learned that. That's awesome. So I can go back to states, go back down to Virginia, click on CTE, click on workplace readiness. So over here, I can see, let's say I'm doing computer information systems. So now I can see my competencies, I can see the WIDA standards, and I can see the workplace readiness skills all at once and be making sure that all of those are relevant. If you have additional questions after watching this video, I suggest first using the help menu. Again, it has a great number of tutorials and step-by-step walkthrough instructions of the different features. You can also ask me or email me or set up a time with me in my Calendly website to set up an appointment. You can also ask your department chair or ask your mentor. Thanks for watching my brief overview on Common Curriculum.